The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on July 1st, 2021, under the constellation of CÁNCER, in the mental week, examining through the third eye chakra. Me, precipitation. That's how I felt yesterday after your words, precipitating me to a kind of deep emptiness that made me want to be alone, in bed, poured out. I felt like I was in a depression that led me to feel the weight in a more elegant way, a confused condensation. I understood, in spite of everything, what you told me. Being in white is like being in the fog, where many colors and lights and aspects unite and reflect each other, merging to the point of not being identified. And I understood that very complex question, that the more things that we absorb from the environment and the more blank we are, the more confused. And that's good to help us feel. Well, I open myself to feel, and the strange thing is that I feel sad things even though I have no logic why I should feel them. My body hurts as if I have been exercising for hours, beaten up. I am. It is the reconfiguration. Your subconscious stores all of its information in every cell, and it is recorded in your muscles and organs. When you suddenly open that information, each cell contracts because it tries to protect itself from the data, and when it is released, the body feels exhausted because it's made a really great effort. Me. That's why the inner work weighs. I am. Many chemical reactions take place within you. Think that everything you feel is the only thing that the brain can believe. So when you remember, you relive situations. The information in your brain is stored together with the data of the emotions. So your brain interprets that what you remember is happening and informs the body to act in resonance. So hormones are secreted, certain muscles tense up, and you end up in pain without having done anything. This is the way you can experience the power that the subconscious has in you. Me. Yesterday I experienced it as a therapy. I am. Let's get on with it then. You told me that you feel like you were rushing. Why? Me. Because I feel a free fall toward an emotion that I don't recognize in me. I cannot understand this sadness, this melancholy, if I've already healed everything. I am. And how do you know that you've healed it? Me. Well, you can clearly see why. All of the things that used to affect me a lot, today they no longer do. There are less and less things that affect me, and this sometimes makes me angry. I am. So it affects you that it doesn't affect you? Me. I mean, the feeling I have is someone who lets everything happen as if I no longer have anything under my control. I am. And do you feel that you have lost control? Me. Yes. I feel that others make the decisions for me, that I practically do not intervene in anything anymore, that I just flow. I go around like letting myself go. I am. But you feel that instead of flowing, you fall? Me, yes. I am. Like the rain. When the clouds, the mist condensate even more. They form little water droplets, which if you join together become denser and denser, which prevents the light from passing through, making the clouds no longer look white and look gray or dark underneath. That's when the beautiful magic of precipitation happens, when the density of the droplets begin to be greater than the density of the atmospheric pressure, and they pass through the molecules of the air to fall to the earth by gravity. Rain comes from the Indo-European word pliu, which means to flow. In English, rain comes from the same Indo-European European reg, which is to wet. The origin of the words such as irrigate and irrigation. At temperatures above 0 degrees Celsius, water precipitation occurs, and below 0 degrees Celsius, snow precipitation occurs as the water freezes. The meteorological term precipitation comes from the Latin word precipitere, from caput, head, meaning to go headlong, to go forward with the head in front. Me, to fall headlong? I am. That is the image that's here. Take the drop as a little person whose head goes downward at a great speed, forming a sphere by the pressure of the air, leaving a wake behind like a body. The sensation of falling water produces in people a psychological state of falling, of depression, where, as the humidity becomes denser, things fall because of their density. It is the weight that we carry hidden in the subtle that, when it becomes present, leads us to see and feel what before seemed non-existent, dragging us to the ground. Me, that's how I feel. I am. Rain has two sides, one positive and one negative for our psychology. The first time it rained on Earth was more than 4 billion years ago, and it did so for more than 2,000 consecutive years without stopping at all, because the great condensation of chemical elements filled the atmosphere from the volcanic heat of the surface, covering the skies, cooling the Earth's temperature, and causing the first precipitation, which filled the oceans and cooled the planet. Me. 2,000 years of intense rainfall, that's unthinkable. Now that was a deluge. I am. The water was brought to this world by various means. It was produced after the explosion of the sun in the creation of our solar system, when the chemicals that composed it, hydrogen and oxygen, fused to constitute water. But the same one was grouped in a frozen way, not liquid, which united the rocks that were fired at great speed. Me. Comets. I am, exactly. Comets are composed of ice and other minerals, and some asteroids also have ice. Thus, our world accumulated these gases in its formation process, just as it received over millions of years the impact of asteroids and comets. The water took the information from the various worlds in formation and recorded what it saw in the cosmos until it merged with our world. The rain, then, came to our world as a star shower. Me. A stellar precipitation. I am. And with it the memory of the fallen ones of heaven. Me, the fallen angels? I am, that's right. They, these comets and asteroids, were the fallen angels in the battle of creation, who, in merging with the minerals of this world, created life and contained it for millions of years within them in the oceans, protecting them from the external world. And despite the beauty of creation by water, a bitter tone remains of this precipitation, for it brought us to matter, to live in this world, trapped in a small fragment of the universe. Origins of all stories of those who've lived in the heavens are trapped on this earth, the fallen angels. The precipitation is therefore interpreted negatively as a depression, a punishment, the fall, and reminds us of the disconnection from the celestial. Internally, the rain produces the nostalgia of defeat, the weeping of heaven. Nothing can be done when it rains but to watch, contemplate, to stand under leaves or roofs, sheltering until it passes. The ancient vision of what was done while it rained is remembered in the cells as moments of inactivity, of shelter, of going indoors, of spending days in the shade. Despite this, when agriculture defined our societies, cultures, and regions, we saw the rain as the salvation, the divine irrigation for sowing, for the crops. Without water, fields did not grow. Animals needed water. Water is a vehicle for life for all kingdoms of nature. And that is why rain brings hope and sorrow alike, summed up in your tears. Me, tears. I am, oh yes. Tears may be of sadness or joy, but they are medicine for the body. That is why their path from the eyes ends at the corners of the lips. They water the fertile fields of your words, releasing the tears. Let them rush and allow them, your verb, to bloom with truth. Thus, what you consider negative is the foundation of the positive. Me, clearly your words are magic. An hour passed between when you said the last sentence and when I'm writing this paragraph. In this time, I have been talking to my mother on the phone, and I have cried a lot, and I still do. Tears run down my cheeks to my lips. For the last week, I have been silent with her. I was angry, and I didn't know why. I was trying to understand, and all of the answers were superficial. The deepest I had come up into is understanding my situation, was feeling that I was being treated like a child by everyone. One phrase I used was, I feel like I'm going to be 34 years old and I'm still being treated like an 8-year-old. That had me angry, unspoken, kind of offended at certain situations that made me uncomfortable. But that wasn't the root. That wasn't the real problem until we talked yesterday and it came out. I am. You are a mistake. Me, I am a mistake. When I made the I Am Project promotional video, I explained that the error is in saying I am me instead of saying I am, and that our intention is to correct that error. It was not until yesterday that it became clear to me the reason why I produced these words from the beginning of the path. The only thing I have in Cancer is Mercury in the 8th house of Scorpio. This makes my gift to be communication, the word, teaching about life to children, like a nursery school teacher. But, on the other hand, in the house of Scorpio, I do nothing but hide my communication, Mercury, from my mother, Cancer, feeling that I am a mistake from the subconscious made me a communicator of the conscious. But when the truth comes out, I keep quiet or silence. I am. You can see here a typical reflection of the mistake made. You became a planetary communicator only to silence the more personal communication. You interpreted speaking loudly and clearly to the world to help right planetary wrongs, to heal the unspoken words to those closest to you, hiding the pain and the truth in the subconscious. Me, this shattered me, to see that everything that I have done speaking to the world was only to shut me up. I am, and it was productive, for every shift is fertilizer, every hindrance can be a tool. So it is that your inability to speak became your gift of speech. However, your mission with the world is not your mission with the inner. Me. And I saw that when yesterday you said all that you said. I am. The mistake that your subconscious considers you to be is what defined what you have done to be the center of attention. This mistake was the gift to your conscious. Me. Talking today with my mother, I realized the phrase I will always use, take the focus of attention. I realize that my superficial pain lies in the idea of not being the center of attention. Something that I've worked out on a social and external level is not worked out at all in my internal world. So I don't care how many people see me in the world, but it affects me if my friends and family do not. And I recognize that in my subconscious, the information is very different from what is seen outside. Used to be the center of attention, the focus on me, when someone says, you have to put the focus on something else more important now, it makes me feel very bad. But everything has a logic now. Why does this phrase bother me? I am your body. The foundation of your subconscious is considered a biological mistake, which leads to the fact that in your life you try to solve the mistakes. To deny the self as a mistake, you become the center under the spotlight of everyone else, building a personality that hides the biological pain. Thus, the child feels loved. And when someone takes the focus of attention from you, the child feels hurt. He again considers himself a mistake. Me. And so when angry, he shuts up. And today I was explaining this to my mother, and my mother was telling me why it is easier for me to explain these things to 1,000 people, but not to talk about it with her. I am, because it is precisely your weak point. It's your child that is hurting in your body, and a child is dependent on his mom. You are afraid that your mom will reject you if you say such painful things to her. Me. It is painful to be remarked that you are a mistake. I am. But as I told you, the mistake is not the parents', nor is it yours. We all made a mistake. Biology is a mistake, and it is the key to evolution. You can't blame your parents for something you feel, nor can you put on them the burden of something they also lived. To accept that you are a mistake is to accept that you are changeable, that there is no plan, and that your only encouragement is to improve on that mistake. Me. This broke my way of looking at life yesterday. That's why everything hurts. I live my life building through a purpose, with a higher divine plan, where everything has a logic, a map to follow. And suddenly, seeing everything as a mistake, everything is built as the consequence of a mistake. It made me rush into the void. I am. And that's what you must do. It is thanks to the rain that the drops filled the ocean, thanks to the rain that the mountains turned white and the planet cooled down, and it is thanks to the rain that the streams and rivers flowed, filling lakes and swamps. It is thanks to the rain that seeds grow and flowers bloom. Throw yourself headlong into the void, and you will discover that behind the Great Depression, there can only be life. Me. I'm going to the deepest parts of myself, precipitating myself to the most hidden, to the most anguished pains that my subconscious hides. I am, so that you may blossom. May your tears become the fresh rain that nourishes your words. Let the silent tears of your eyes and water the verbs that will free you and make your soul bloom. Don't be afraid to get angry, to feel shame, to cry. Crying is the rain of the soul, and that waters the fertile fields of your body. Me, and whenever it rained, it stopped. I am, knowing that behind every storm a rainbow is drawn. Me, watering the future with the waters of the past, bringing back discernment in the colors behind the confusion of the clouds. I am, so let it rain. Me, let it rain. It reminds me of a song that I used to hear a lot in my memory between 8 and 10 years old. I am. Last night I had a dream that there would be morning after, long days, sunshine and peace, long nights of love, forgiveness, and laughter. Maybe it was just a dream, but it could have been reality. Children are like planting seeds. They must let their flowers grow. Don't you know? Let it rain, let it rain. Let the sky wash away my pain. Let it rain, let it rain. Let it be peace in the name of love. Through the rain I saw as a child, just like my child, someone's son or daughter. I watched them play for a moment and I wanted to cry. These children just smiled. Maybe it was just a ground, but it must be reality. A child is God's sign that peace and love and seeds are made to grow tomorrow. Let it rain, let it rain.